Your girl Casey McDaniel coming to you today with this um, report. I would say report. I don't have anything to screenshot here or to show you what this discussion is going to be about. As you can see in my title here, it says, "Is Metoo behind the takedown of R.Kelly?" And truly, I believe they are. I was watching yesterday a document on, I don't know how many of you are familiar with this gymnastic doctor called Larry Nassar. And his victims were speaking up and giving their testimonies on what took place at the time of their examination with him and how he was inappropriately touching them. Some of them were being physically examined by him, had their parents also in the room during their examination. So when I listen to these young ladies come with their stories and their testimonies with their documents in front of them, the papers that they had as they were reporting what took place, something just dawned on me. Like, I listened closely, and of course I sat there taking my notes on what they were saying. And when the young ladies were speaking about, him fondling them and how uncomfortable they felt, and him telling them that he's the only doctor that can really cure the injury that they had during their gymnastic, I believe, they tore something or whatever, but the doctor was examining them and he said he was the only person who can really cure the issue. So when I looked at it and I listened again and I rewind and I listened again, and I'm like saying to myself, this sounds like an R. Kelly thing. And it also sounds like the target is these women, these feminist group women that's going after these male men that are successful in success, these successful men, whether they're black, white, Chinese, Latino, or whatever, that these men are being accused falsely of sexual crimes that they may or may not have committed. Now, when I listen to the girls' testimonies, and they're saying their parents were there, they also, one of the girls did say that her mom or whatever was there, and she told her mother when her mother was in the car that, oh, I didn't feel comfortable with that, blah, blah, blah. And mom said to her, oh, you didn't. First, her mom asked her what was wrong, and she says, oh, I didn't feel comfortable the way the doctor was examining me, and it just didn't feel right or whatever. And then I said, the mother went to the doctor, Nassar, and said to him, allegedly, my daughter didn't feel comfortable the way you were touching her, and please do not touch her like that again. This is what the daughter said. Now, this is my take on it. Now, if it was my child that I took to be examined and I was in the room with the doctor and I'd be like, what are you doing? I would have been watching every feel and touch. Now, if your mother was there or is there to witness how he was examining you, then I can't look at it as he was sexually doing anything inappropriately, especially if an adult was in the room there. So when I listened to it, I said, this don't sound right. And why was they standing there reading a piece of paper? Now, if something happened to you, I look at it like this. If this is truly something that really happened, you will be able to detail your story without a piece of paper in front of you. Everything should come from here and from your memory. Even whether you lost memory or whatever of some of the things that might have took place, you will still be able to speak whatever you can from your heart of what happened to you on that examining table. So I didn't get it why they were standing there with a piece of document form, and then the judge was a woman and it was all a bunch of women, and one of the girls was like, I have a bunch of strong women behind me. Like she was so proudly to say that, like she was coached to say it and give that kind of emphasis on it. And I was like, this don't, And then the ages that the girls gave, they were like 15 and 16. I don't think nobody in there were standing when this examination supposed to have been taking place were over the age of 16. Put it that way. But I did share this with two bloggers that I feel will cover this story. Hopefully will cover what I'm sharing here. I can only tell it to you here, speaking on it, because I so watched it and I don't really know how to share the link here with you. I can share the link on this video. I can do that and you can go and watch it for yourself. But it's just like I'm listening to it, and then I'm listening to the story what happened with Robert Sylvester Kelly and how all these young women came forward and said that he were manipulating them, sexually abusing them, locking them up, having them eat feces, and all the other stuff that took place or whatever that they actually accused him of on in their testimonies or the stories they gave on Lifetime. And I'm listening to these women's stories, and they all were young women, supposedly underage young women. Most were from Most of the girls were white girls. They weren't black girls, and the judge was also a white woman, and she was standing there just just cheering them on. And I'm just looking at it, I said, something don't seem right about this. That they coming at this man like this. And the reason I'm so interested in this story, not only just because of Robert Sylvester Kelly, but I also raised nothing but male children. All the children that I raised were all males. Well, of course, you all heard my story of one of my nephews who was killed by gunfire in North Carolina through some recklessness of a gun, a young man that recklessly, but that and everything, we buried that along with my nephew. We just going to continue to celebrate his life and remember him the way we remembered him. How it ended and everything, we don't know. Maybe that was part of God's plan. Being a Christian and all, we got to see things in a spiritual lens, or in a way of how God, have our lives destined to whatever God has in plan for us. We not in control how we gonna die or whatever, how we choose to live or die, whatever. But I choose to want to go good. I don't want to go out like that. I pray and ask God to keep protection over my life everywhere I go. As I'm getting ready to head out this door in a few minutes, and when I'm finished doing this video. But I just wanted to just share that story with you about Larry Nassar. He was a gymnastic doctor, and he examined these young girls and these young women. I wouldn't say girls, they're young women. And they accused him of being a sexual predator, using his position and medical position or whatever he was in to take advantage of these young women. So I would recommend that you will look at the video for yourself and share your own views of how you feel about it. I just wanted to just bring this to my platform today to share this with you all, and prayerfully that it will shed some light somewhere of what's taking place now with Robert Sylvester Kelly and these women government feminist groups that's going after these successful men, and if they want to take them down, and they want to come for them, how they using these young girls to come at them and say they sexually predators, they inappropriately touch them or whatever. And you just got to be careful. And like I said, I raise boy children, and I have two right now. I have one who's going to be graduating this spring in his field, and he's going in that field of being a physical therapist. Okay, and he's getting ready to graduate. And also, I have a nephew who's already in that field and working with coaching and everything in tennis. So he also have to probably examine sometimes injuries injuries from that part of sports in tennis or whatever. Maybe they might have torn a ligament or whatever, or because when you're an athlete, sometimes certain muscles and everything get torn, certain things get torn or whatever during your exercise or during your time of playing. So you have to be very careful. So I just took interest in listening to this story because I do have two males in my family that are in that field of work, and I'm just hoping and praying that nobody ever come at them saying they were sexually predators or whatever, even though they're young men. But still in all, this supposedly been being cold. Could have happened, but I've been in causes. Okay. So anyway, I gotta go. So I want to say, and I'm not putting rumors out there that Robert has been part, and I'm just saying it can be done. I just want you to know that it can be done. So I'm not saying he's been parting, but we're going to continue to keep him in our prayers and keep him lifted and speak of him in positive light. We're not going to talk around anything negative or whatever because he's getting closer and closer to his freedom. And I don't want to make it bad for him, acting up or getting into any confrontation with anyone here on these YouTube streets. But anyway, your girl, Casey McDaniel, I gotta go. Love you all. Have a blessed and wonderful Monday and be safe. Peace.